It was a cold, rainy night when Emily decided to take the long, winding drive to the old inn at the edge of Blackwood Forest. She had heard the rumors, strange noises, flickering lights, and the occasional scream that carried through the dense trees. Most people avoided the inn entirely, but Emily, a freelance journalist, saw it as the perfect story. She wanted the thrill, the mystery, and perhaps the fame that came with uncovering the secrets of a place long abandoned. As she drove along the wet road, her headlights barely pierced the thick fog that clung to the forest. The neon sign of the inn buzzed faintly in the distance, casting an eerie green glow on the puddles and wet asphalt. The air was thick with mist, and every shadow seemed to twitch, as if watching her approach. Emily's heart raced with a mixture of excitement and fear. She parked her car and stepped out. The rain immediately soaked her, but she hardly noticed. The wind howled through the trees, making them sway in unnatural patterns. She approached the door, which creaked as she pushed it open. Inside, the lobby was dark, dusty, and smelled of mildew. A single light flickered weakly above the reception desk. No one was there. "Hello?" Emily called, her voice trembling slightly. Her words echoed off the walls, swallowed by the silence. Then she heard it, a soft, almost imperceptible whisper. "Check the guest book." Emily hesitated. Her rational mind screamed that there was no one there. Yet she moved forward, her hand brushing against the old reception desk. The guest book lay there, leather-bound and yellowed with age. She opened it slowly, feeling the pages crackle beneath her fingertips. The entries went back decades, until one, dated 1987, caught her eye. The name was barely legible, Jonathan Hale. Beneath it, someone had scrawled, "Don't let them see you." Her pulse quickened. A sudden gust of cold air swept through the lobby, extinguishing the weak light and plunging her into darkness. Shadows danced along the walls, twisting and writhing. Emily could barely breathe. The whisper returned, closer this time. "They're waiting." Panic rising, she bolted toward the staircase. The steps groaned under her weight, each one echoing unnaturally. She could feel the presence behind her, always just out of sight, following her with slow, deliberate steps. The hallway stretched endlessly before her, lined with doors slightly ajar, dark and foreboding. Then she heard a giggle, a small, childlike laugh that sent chills down her spine. She froze. At the end of the hallway, barely visible through the darkness, a little girl appeared. Her dress was tattered, and her eyes were black, hollow voids that seemed to pierce Emily's soul. The girl raised a tiny hand, pointing toward the last room at the end of the corridor. Against every instinct, Emily walked forward. Her legs trembled with each step. When she reached the door, it was slightly open. Light spilled from within, casting long, distorted shadows that seemed to reach out to her. Inside, the room appeared untouched by time, frozen in a moment that seemed almost unreal. A table sat in the center, and atop it lay a diary, its leather cover worn but intact. Emily approached and opened it, reading the first page aloud in a whisper. "If you are reading this, it is already too late. The inn feeds on those who enter. The guests never leave. They remain." Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind her. She spun around, her breath ragged. The shadows in the corners of the room began to move, stretching and twisting as if alive. The little girl's giggle multiplied, echoing all around her, filling the space with a cacophony of unnatural sound. Emily tried to scream, but no sound escaped. The shadows began to reach toward her, cold and suffocating. She stumbled backward, knocking over the diary, its pages scattering like autumn leaves. The shadows swirled faster, enveloping her entirely. She could feel herself being pulled into the darkness, her body weightless, her vision blurring. In the distance, faintly, she could see other figures trapped in the shadows, faces twisted in terror, reaching out as if begging for help. Hours later, A man drove down the highway, lost in thought. He noticed the neon sign flicker faintly, as if just waking from a long slumber. The inn seemed to breathe, its windows dark and silent once more. On the reception desk, a new entry had appeared in the guest book, Emily Clark. Don't let them see you. The wind whispered through the trees, carrying with it a faint giggle, and the rain continued to fall. Somewhere in the inn, shadows moved patiently, waiting for the next guest.